Hey guys, it's Mario here, and in this quick video, I decided to share with you an idea, an insight that I just got reminded of as I ended a call with a client who is in his mid-30s, very successful in business, runs an online business, and he decided to take care of his health. And he's very passionate about self-development, personal development, reads more books than me. And this idea is something I really resonated with and something I thought that you guys might find value in, because I know a lot of you also read books and you're super passionate about this area of your life. And the thing is, when it comes to personal development, we're often kind of in that mindset that we can do whatever we want. And that is true. I mean, we can become good at most things if you put in the practice, if you focus on deliberate practice, if you get good over time, if you build a skill set, you get good at pretty much anything. But one problem with that, and it was something I noticed with this client of mine, is that he already had an idea what he needed to do. You gotta start tracking your macros a little bit. You gotta be consistent with gym and all those things. And he also had a really good idea what his success would look like. He could pretty well accurately give me an image of what he wanted to do, and he had the confidence that he could do that. So he's coming from that high self-esteem position. He knows that he can accomplish it. He knows what his kind of end result will look like. A guy with six-pack, a guy who's building a decent amount of muscle mass, who is pretty much very strong in the gym, and he's doing this healthy lifestyle now. But one problem with that was that image, now that fantasy, is so strong that it actually paralyzed him when it was time to take action, because now that fantasy was so strong that he didn't want to risk that failure of not reaching that fantasy in that time that he imagined, and as well as he didn't want to kind of risk the fact that he might not achieve that goal. What if that success turns out to be different? What if that success doesn't turn out to be as easy or as good as he thought? And that's one thing when we are coming from that field of personal development, we're always focused on very positive thinking. We're stay positive, reframe everything. And we sometimes forget that reality is, for the most part, outside of our control. I mean, we cannot control the outcome of the journey. We cannot know exactly what that outcome is going to be. And one problem with these fantasies is that oftentimes, similarly with this client, is that it will prevent you from taking action, because now you're going to rather be attached to that fantasy, which is giving you all the positive emotions. You know about all of your great potential. You know how everything is going to look like. And now if you start putting in the action, if you commit to the daily grind, if you put in the daily work, it's going to be painful, and you pretty much know that it's not going to be easy. It's much easier just to mentally masturbate and fantasize about all the great things that you could do than to sit down and actually commit to the journey and kind of walk that talk. And this is something that I find very fascinating, and something that I'm pretty sure a lot of us have issues with, not just in health and fitness, but in pretty much any area of our lives. We know that we have that potential. We know that in the next 5 years we can accomplish great things, but how much of that is actually just in our mind, and we're not willing to commit to that because we know that it's a grind? Because we would rather have that fantasy, we'd rather have that kind of success in an image in our mind than to put in the work, than to commit to the process. And one thing that we can really do about this is a really cool technique from Gabrielle Oettingen called mental contrasting. And her book, Rethinking Positive Thinking, is a really good read if you're interested in learning more about this. And it's kind of more related to setting goals in general and being more motivated. She says that, of course, you want to have that image of success. You want to imagine yourself being successful, kind of the end goal to motivate yourself, but you want to contrast that with the reality. You want to think, what is it going to take me to get there? What are the potential obstacles? And then around those obstacles, you kind of create those if-then loops. A very powerful framework for achieving a goal, because it kind of contrasts that fantasy, that success that you have in your mind with the actual reality. Because for the reality part, you kind of have to think about it logically. Okay, what are all the obstacles and what can I do about it? What can I delegate? What can I do myself? What can I kind of skip? What can I do realistically? So when you contrast the fantasy and reality, you kind of get a bigger picture view of things, and you will also be able to actually start taking action, because now you're no longer being delusional, but you're also no longer just thinking about exactly the reality and being afraid of it, because it's kind of a mixture of both, which seems to be working really well according to the research, at least that Gabriel is doing for a very, very long time. So definitely check out that book. That's a quick idea that I wanted to share with you guys, and I'd love to hear from you how you resonate with this in the comments below, because I know, as I said, a lot of you read personal development and self-help, which is something that is a big passion of mine as well. And I find that just having these fantasies in my mind sometimes prevents you from taking action. So as I said, let me know in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button below to support the channel as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. I think I'm gonna start making YouTube videos with this on. Yeah, after all, this is very authentic and real, and you guys can see who I truly am. This is my real face. My true self is coming out. I just didn't want to reveal it until now. Blue Demon. Yes, big bicep Blue Demon. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Now I look much nicer. Can't recognize myself without my superhero mask. Know why I have a big nose? Because my genetics are so selfish, they want to suck all the oxygen out, so there's no oxygen left for other people. It's an evolutionary advantage, so I get more oxygen compared to other people.